Here's why Muslims suck.
Iran's top Shiite cleric issued a fatwa against U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli PM Netanyahu on June 29th.
Here's why Muslims suck.
If you want to be gay, they'll kill you. Yeah? If you leave Islam, they'll kill you. If you steal, they chop your hands. Is this something you want? I don't think you understand what Sharia law entails. You just don't know what it is. You think Islam is so peaceful because that's their new message to the world, but it's just a subversion. Islam, in its essence, is meant to spread. Every single person must be a Muslim, or pay the jizya, or die. You decide. Either you keep your religion and pay a protection tax, you'll be humiliated and subjugated, you don't get specific rights that only the Muslims get, or you convert and you become part of them, or you die.
It's believed that only a third of the 1.5 million Christians who lived in Iraq in 2003 remain today. The EU and the US both recognize the systematic killing of Christians and other religious minorities by the Islamic State group as genocide.
Death penalty. Islamic legislation on apostasy. Sharia views apostasy as a serious crime that could potentially result in the death penalty.
Christianity is illegal in Iran, and believers in Jesus can be put to death.
Oh yeah, Lebanon used to be a Christian country. Centuries ago, Egypt was a Christian country.
That's right. All of North Africa was Christian. But in Lebanon in particular, I remember it happening. We could see these people being wiped out, and the world did nothing about it. And we'd be very, very foolish in Western Europe not to think that the same thing will happen.
And you asked me to define what is an enemy. It's a force that wants to destroy you. How do I know that? In this infrastructure of mosques and madrasas and Islamic centers, etc. They say it explicitly. So there is something about don't listen to me, don't listen to the analysts with PhDs and the like. Listen to them and what they say and take it at their word.
First and most and last goal is to re-establish that Khilafah.
Ahead is the weak so-called Muslims, the cowards of this ummah that claim that Muslims are religion of peace. I want to clarify that as well. Islam is the religion of justice. We can be peaceful, but when it comes to it, we know how to defend our land, our religion, and our honor.
The recent case of an Egyptian asylum seeker, a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, who was convicted of making bombs in Egypt, entered the UK illegally, was then put in a 4-star Hilton hotel at the expense of UK taxpayers, was allowed to roam the streets of the UK for 17 months while the government decided whether or not to grant his asylum request, during which time he walked into Hyde Park, London, and raped a woman in that park. I could sit here and give you 100 similar cases to that.
Police station, I noticed that the vast majority of the people waiting to report a crime were women. Later, the police officer who I met with told me that most were there to report rape.
2 16-year-old migrant men follow and jump an 18-year-old boy on his way home. They punch him in the face, then they steal his phone while telling him that they had seen him on the tram and they thought that he was a dirty and ugly Swede that they wanted to rob. They then wanted him to take out money from his bank account, and when that didn't work, they beat him to the ground. They call him ethnic slurs for a Swedish boy, call him a son of a and force him to open his mouth while they pee on him and film it all. 10 men jump an 18-year-old boy, force him to undress all the way down to his underwear, and then cut off parts or all of his hair. 4 young men jump 20-year-old Swedish man, rob him of what he has, and then forces him under knife threat to let them inside his apartment, where they steal additional things. They then force the Swedish young man into a dark garage where the humiliation begins. They beat him, humiliate him, force him to kiss the main offender's feet, and they film it all.
Then we have a rise in sexual harassment and rapes and gang rapes on the other hand. Some cultures we are bringing here have no respect for Sweden, and some have no respect for women. This is the hard truth.
Denmark. Boy attempted to be decapitated with machete in front of his little brother on playground. 3. Muslim, boys aged 16, 18, 16 years. Is accused of being behind the violent assault, the 16-year-old with the machete, sacrificed a skull, so that the victim fell to the ground. While the victim was on his knees, the 16-year-old stabbed him with a machete in the side of his back, and then squatted him with the machete in the back of his head. 24 out of 24 selected kiosks. Authorities find drugs and weapons in Copenhagen kiosks. In one kiosk, the police found a knuckle duster, a knife, a baseball bat, pepper spray, and several hammers, as well as almost 190 grams of narcotics, including nearly 220 milliliters of liquid GHB, known under the name Fantasy, and 132 tablets of illegal medicine. In other kiosks among the 24 checked, signs of black market activity and unpaid taxes were found, along with illegal nicotine products, narcotics, and illegal medicine and weapons. 6 men were arrested by the Copenhagen police on Tuesday morning. The charges involve receiving cash amounts totaling several million. 4 of those arrested are believed to have connections to the banned gang loyal to Familia, LTF. One is, among other things, charged with having received cryptocurrency worth 34.6 million kroner. The total amount involved was not clear, but according to the prosecutor, it is up to 100 million kroner. One is also charged with having been in possession of 274 kilos of hashish.
Send them back! Let them hear you at the Westminster. Let them hear you in the Westminster, and let them hear you around the world. Over 2 million people watching us now live on Tommy's X. Let's say thank you to Elon for freeing the bird. Thank you, Elon.
The attack by radical Islamists on the Hindu families in the village of Aladinagar was no isolated event. In early 2013, a wave of violence swept across the entire country. The main targets were religious minorities and freethinkers.
Judges want a blasphemy law requiring the death penalty for people who insult Islam online.
The increasing of Islamic extremism and intolerance, we find ourselves in a very difficult situation. There have been attacks on churches, many cases of blasphemy, as a result of which there's been a lot of violence against Christians.
Accusations of blasphemous acts against the Prophet Muhammad or abuse of the Quran are not only directed at Christians. Muslims are even more impacted by the blasphemy law. But in the case of Christians, this law continues to be used as an instrument that not only legitimizes the elimination of individuals, but of whole Christian communities. Penalty for blasphemy is death.
In Pakistan, half of the population gets married to a first or second cousin, and this shows that cousin marriages is still very popular in a lot of South Asian cultures. When you look into it, you see that there's a problem because there's 2 times more chances of the children getting a genetic disorder. And even though it's a small percentage, it still doubles. It goes from 3% to 6%.